Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the Imperium Isles. We are the Elder Brain, and we're doing some Pathfinder again this week. We are short one Craig tonight, unfortunately, but the rest of us are still here. So we've got Jack and Mike and Devin and me. I'm Ian, and let's get right into this thing. So Pathfinder 2nd Edition. We started last week by creating new characters. Maybe we can just go around the horn real fast and reintroduce everyone to the new characters. And, well, I see Mike is up on my screen first. So, Mike, let's talk about you and Liam, the alchemist.
Yep. So I am playing a nomadic halfling whose name is Liam Holdenbroggle. He is an alchemist, so he throws bombs. If last week was a testament to how effectively he throws bombs, he is going to be a dumpster fire of an alchemist, so we'll see if he gets any better as levels progress.
The fire part is right. That's kind of what you want with an alchemist.
Yes, but not. I want them to hit. I don't think I hit. I think all I got was splash damage last week, which was just one.
Hey, that's not true. You did hit me.
With splash damage, yeah.
Hey, listen, a hit's a hit, even if it's on your teammate. Even if it's on your teammate.
Yeah. All right, Jack, tell us about Slippery Phil.
I'm Jack. I will be playing Slippery Phil. He is a Gripply, which is a frog person. And he is also a swashbuckler.
Yes. So we need to make sure that we're managing your panache.
Which I think I have a slightly better handle on than I did last week. But
awesome.
We will see.
Just to be clear, that is literally called panache?
Yes.
So that wasn't just like a folksy nickname you were throwing on your attacks or something. That's literally what it's called.
It is a mechanical thing called panache. Yes.
That's amazing. Yep. I love it.
Yep. Well, next in my list here, I see Craig's character Aid, who he is a ranger. He's got an animal companion who I now have figured out. I stayed up late last week, crunching all the numbers and sorting out because holy cow. What a rabbit hole going down, trying to figure out how to stat out a first level wolf. Jeez. Anywho, but Craig will not be playing. We will find a way to sideline him for a week, and hopefully he'll be back with us next time. And last but not least, Devin, tell us about Sir Sal the Champion.
Sir Sal the Pow, worshipping the Lord of the Sun, sang the bright child. Sir Salueni is human with some SMR in there, a little bit of bright eyes, and he is following the Redeemer cause, which is to say that he'll try his hardest to make you see the error of your ways, and he'll never start a fight, but he will always finish them.
And I guess one of the big differences between a D&D paladin and a Pathfinder champion is the fact that they are a champion rather than specifically a paladin, right? So depending on what cause you follow.
Is one of the causes of the champion, which I'm not currently doing. I'm the Redeemer.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit more Redeemer champion. A little bit more wiggle room in terms of like concepts.
And each of the different causes so you've got a different spell-like ability, like the Redeemer and the Paladin both get lay on hands, and then you get a different reaction, right?
Yeah, I get a special Redeemer reaction for when someone in the party is hit. I can do interesting things.
Fun times. All right, so that's a refresher on who we are. Now I'll give you a quick rundown to remind everyone where we are. You started off at Landlubber's Bar and Grill on Central, which is the main island of the Imperium Isles. You'd just been hired on by Nikolai, the captain of Persephone, a salvage boat. You're going to be the new crew. You just finished up your free lunch, your signing bonus, and headed to the ship and found things in trouble already. The first mate was being pinned down by a goblin, and the captain was being held at knife point by more goblins. Fight ensues. You free the captain. He explains that goblin gangs have been getting a little rough, a little territorial. They've claimed this pier as their own. He kind of blew them off thinking they weren't a big deal. Apparently they were. You did a bit more exploring around the pier. You found sort of their nest and some goblin dogs, which were real fun to deal with. I seem to recall Slippery Phil almost went down. I think you were at 1 hit point at one point and diseased.
Yeah, I could not outslip them all, unfortunately.
But the goblin dogs were dealt with, and as you had finished looting and searching the little nest of theirs, you heard a voice outside yelling, "What's going on down there? Where's all the racket and chaos, and what are you chumps doing in my shed?" And the voice continues, "And what's that tub doing tied up at my pier, you guys?" And you hear movement outside, and I'm going to get you guys back to the battle map that we were on before. I will just recenter here. I will get rid of the bodies of the goblin dogs. They are not too important. I think everyone was inside the shed at the time of the calling out.
That sounds accurate.
I think you'd all been sort of searching. So,
uh-oh. More Gorbals outside.
So you definitely hear some goblins. Aid, you see that his wolf bass, sort of the ears perk up, and they are sort of close to the back door. And he just sort of holds a finger up to you silently and sort of slips out the back. And immediately you hear the sounds of combat happening behind the shed. And then you hear the goblin out front calling again, saying, "All right, I know you're in there. I'm going to start throwing firebombs at that damn boat if you don't come out and face me."
Well, once more it is a breach, dear friends.
And I think he's not going to mince words here. We're just going to roll initiative at this point because he's ready to rock. I'm going to.
How unfortunate for them.
All right, I need that. So I think, yeah, no, he wasn't going to be acrobatic. He's not going to roll fire lore. As much as I want to roll fun skills for initiative, I think both my guys are just rolling perception.
I will do the same.
Yeah, unless anyone's got anything particularly inventive, I think we can all just roll perception and.
So I have a +5, so that'll be a 17 total.
Okay. Enter.
Ooh,
17.
8 is not ideal.
Let me see. Initiative. Hey.
That's not bad.
Rolling better than Path Builder was, so hey.
Doesn't seem like the usual Mike we know, rolling higher than a 20.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. There's the proof in the pudding that Pathfinder is. You don't quote us on this. Pathfinder improves your ability to get good rolls.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think that's true.
Oh,
I mean,
right.
You can't argue with results. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, I just rolled an 8, so.
Oh boy, sorry.
We're playing 5e. That would have been a 4.
Let's see. Do I have line of sight? My guy into here? Yeah, kind of, sort of. I can see him there pretty well. 4 contiguous 5-foot squares. That sounds exciting. 1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, so probably shouldn't bunch up for this one. is what I'm hearing.
Well, I heard him say
that we should.
I think he's gonna have to move to get a better line because he hears you guys in there. He wants to see who's in there. So his first action is going to be just to move to there, and then he's going to cast a 2-action spell. See his hands going up, and you see this guy.
Oh yeah.
He means business. And although he has, flames flickering on his fingertips, what comes out of his hands is a torrent of hot grease
Lovely.
as he is casting the grease spell.
I don't smell French fries right now.
Just like that. Splat on the two of you.
Is the grease pink?
Yes. It's going to be bubbling and pink and awesome.
Oh no! Pepto-Bismol,
No.
my one weakness.
Anything but the pink sauce.
So this is 4 contiguous 5-foot squares like Blair. Each creature standing on the greasy surface must succeed at a reflex save
Okay.
or acrobatics check.
Do we get to choose that in the moment?
Yes.
Oh, well, oof, I got a +8 to reflex, so hopefully that translates to a good roll. Oh, it did. So 23.
23, you have succeeded.
Ooh.
And Sir Sal has failed.
I got an 8.
Aha!
Sure did. So
You thought you could outslip Slippery Phil?
apparently,
I was born in the grease, molded by it.
all right, let's find a good.
I did not see a dry surface until I was already a man.
All right, Sir Sal's prone. Zoop.
I just hear what sounds like just the clatter of pots and pans behind me as I turn over.
At least I can gaze upon the Lord at this angle.
Actually, all I see is the ceiling.
Okay, I'm just sort of making sure there's nothing else here. Basically, while you are in the greasy area, if you make steps or crawls, then you don't have to save again. But if you try and stride, then you would have to save again. And that is my Pyro's turn. So Liam is up.
Well, Liam spent all of his bombs the last round because I figured if you have it, don't sit on it. So Liam is going to let's see. I need an action economy here. Sheet. Give me that. I am going to. Oh shoot! Where is it? Don't I have to draw?
Yeah.
Draw an item.
Interact.
I'm going to interact. So I'm going to interact, and I'm going to pull out my sling. That is
Yes,
the
the trusty sling.
only ranged weapon I have aside from my bombs that are now spent. And I will make.
Filling the bay with pebbles so far, as I recall. This is
I will strike the goblin that just threw hot flaming fire at or grease fire. I can throw this. I can sling 100 feet, so we're good there.
All right.
So that should do that.
All right, 20.
Holy crap! I'm rolling well.
It is a hit. Not a crit, but it is a hit. So 2 damage.
You heard it here first, folks. Pathfinder makes your dice rolls better.
Pathfinder makes my dice rolls better.
I think it's just because Mike's using Roll20 instead of his own dice, and his own dice just.
There's nothing wrong with my dice, Devin. There's nothing wrong whatsoever. They are not loaded backwards. No, everything's fine.
We rigged his dice wrong as a joke.
All right, so you've interacted. You've done 1 strike. What's your third action going to be?
I think I will do a second strike so I can see a second damage or second attack and damage roll. So this should be at 0 instead of a +5.
Yep.
So does a 14 hit?
14 narrowly misses. Zings by his head. He sort of does one of these as it goes overhead. And yes,
All
you
right.
can see the attack number 2 in the macro there. So it definitely worked.
Good. Nice.
All right.
Okay.
I guess that's 3 actions for you. We're on to Slippery Phil.
Question, just in terms of action economy. Actually, my first question is which one did you successfully hit?
This
The
one.
big guy or?
The pyro.
This one.
Okay. Is it possible in the action economy for me to stride 25 feet over here or possibly to here? Make a performance check and then try to swing my grapnel at him?
Yeah, absolutely. What's your it's your performance like? Oh, that's for your panache, right?
Yes.
Awesome.
So I kind of do like I'm already in the grease, so I kind of like just come out the door, like kind of streaming a trail of grease behind me, doing like the risky business slide.
Yeah.
And as I do that, I have my I have the grappling hook out. And I'm just kind of like spinning it around. So I'm hoping that translates to a panache worthy performance.
All right. Let's see what you can do. So how does this work again? You're rolling against my
will, I believe.
will be.
And so I rolled a 16, so that'd be a dirty 20.
Dirty 20 is a success, not a critical. So you have earned panache.
Okay. And then to follow up, I will be trying to hit him with the grappling hook.
Beautiful.
It's weird that like the sword is the weapon that I've used the least as a swashbuckler so far. That was a 12, so 18 with my attack modifier.
18 is just a hit.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Would it be a bad idea to put my panache finisher on this for an extra 2d6, or should I hold on to that?
You can always earn it again next turn, right?
What's that?
You can always get it back.
Fair enough. All right, I'm going to try for the finisher then. So that'll be 3d6 minus 1. 4, 3, 2. So that'll be 8. Well, 8 damage total because I have a -1 to my strength.
All right. He's looking hurt already. So let's see. That was a stride, perform, and an attack. You are done.
Yep. I am exposed to the elements, to the enemies. Hopefully this is not going to be a repeat of last time.
All right. The goblin warrior is going to, let's see, I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to end there. And then I think oh, hang on. No. I'm going to end there. No. Because he ends there, and then as a reaction, this guy scuttles to here. He's getting in position.
Oh no, they're getting into position. What does that mean?
And now the warrior is going to hack at you with his jagged little curved blade known as a dog slicer. 18 to hit on the first one. Sorry, 20 to hit in total.
Oh, I can dodge that. Hang on, I've got something for this. My class feat, nimble dodge. So I can use my reaction to get a +2 circumstance bonus to my AC.
Perfect. And that's against just the triggering attack? Or is it last?
Let me look that up again. Against the triggering attack, yes.
Okay. Well, let's see if it works. So this guy, he thinks he's got you lined up, and you just sort of do, whoop, suck in the gut just at the right time, and he chops nothing but air.
I get on my tiptoes, and the blade just goes like between my legs.
All right. He's frustrated now. He's going to chop at you again. 19 to hit.
Well, I can't do anything about that one since I used up my reaction.
All right, so 6.
Unless that thing that Devin gave me last session is still active.
Lay on
Might
hands.
not be. I thought I had some sort of AC buff. But
the AC bonus only lasts for a round, so I highly doubt it.
Well, okay. You said 6
That
damage.
is all right, because as the dog slicer of the Goblin Warrior makes its way directly towards Slippery Phil, I shall raise my now dripping and matted head to glare with my glowing eyes at the goblin. And do nothing because it's out of range.
So
isn't that reaction 15 feet? Yeah.
Yeah.
So 6 damage.
6 damage, yes.
Copy that.
So I have did 1 stride, 2 strikes. I am done. And Sir Salueni is up. You are prone in the grease.
Right. So what is the penalty to crawling?
Well, let's look at our handy little action cheat sheet and see. Think.
Crawl is 5 feet.
Okay, so you stay prone. That's the penalty to it. So your choices are you can stand up as an action. But yeah, you can crawl 5 feet.
You could stand up and step, right? That's what the
Yes.
But step is another action, right?
Yeah, so you'd stand and then step as 2 separate actions.
You can either crawl 5 and then stand, or stand and then step. Either way, you're accomplishing the same thing.
Still going to cost you 2 actions to get out of this.
Stepping out of the grease, though, that doesn't require a save or a
It's
check.
only entering the grease.
Okay. So then the other option is...
My other choice was greasing the doorway, but that to make you all through it.
Yeah.
I greased the doorknob, so we just can't get the door open anymore.
I shall crawl forward through the muck and the slime and the grease, which will polish my armor, but that's besides the point. And then once I have reached the edge, I shall stand, which is 2 actions I believe I've spent now.
Yep.
And then lastly, I shall say, my good chaps, retreat back, so I may protect you better from these foul fiends. And I shall glare at the one that hit my buddy Phil, and try to demoralize them.
Are you close enough from there? 30 feet?
As long as I'm looking at them.
Oh, okay.
As long as they can see me, it works.
Demoralize him. So this is.
I must make an intimidation.
This is against my will DC, I'm assuming.
I believe so. Demoralize. Oh yeah, within 30 feet. Okay, yes. Intimidation against the will DC.
Okay. Gotcha.
Oh my god.
Oh, and in that one.
I can't roll above a 10 today, guys.
The good news is there's no penalty to failing or crit failing.
Hey.
Why can't you roll why can't you roll as good as Mike?
Right?
We are in a different world here. It's true.
Devin and I have switched places.
Yeah. So then that in that case it's just retreat back.
But your footing is just not that sturdy still, and so you're not as intimidating.
I'm trying
doing one of these.
to glare at them, but I'm still kind of slipping, sliding, and scraping slime off my hair.
Right, and that was your third action. So now it is my Pyro's turn. Oh, and you guys are so kind to me sometimes. You really are.
I don't like being kind to the DM. No.
That's really great, because this way I get to pull out one of these little dealies and go like this and go, oh, look. Now in a 15-foot cone for me. Thank you so much.
For once, Slippery Phil is not directly in harm's way.
Hey.
And we will do one of these. Kablam.
He's using Tetris magic.
Can I get a reflex save from Sir Salueni and Liam?
This is,
I'd rather not.
I think, a +7 for me, so not bad. Let's see.
Well, hey.
Oh, hey.
All right, so Liam.
I got above a 10. I got a 12.
All right, so Liam passes, so you take half damage.
Okay.
2 fire.
2.
And Sir Sal has failed, so he takes the full 4 damage.
Ouch.
And I just want to double check the grease didn't do anything because you're still in the grease technically. Standing on the greasy surface, blah, blah, blah. Creatures, blah, 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 blah. No, I think you are okay. Yep, you're fine. All right, and now I will get rid of my cone as I have blasted you both with fire. That was a move. That was a 2-action spell. I'm done. Liam is up.
All right, well. The sling is not the most effective weapon. However, not the most damaging weapon, but the damaging weapons that I do have don't have as much bonus. So, Liam is going to, let's see, action economy. So I am going to swap my sling with an interact for my thunder mace, which sounds way more menacing than it actually is.
I mean, that is yet to be seen.
Liam is then going to stride 5, 10, 15, and he is going to now strike with his thunder mace, give him a big old thwack, since I see this goblin eye to eye as a halfling. And oh. Yes, no, okay, all right. Kablamo.
Whoosh. I mean, you hit.
For 1 damage, yep.
For 1 damage.
On a D6 or D8, I managed to roll a 1, so.
That crit damage would have been great, but.
That would have been amazing.
Does he have an AC of 11 by any chance?
Yeah, it's the one real. You can turn that off, having it auto roll the crit damage, because it's sometimes just so disheartening to see. Oh, I could have done like 80 points of damage.
That's the real demoralizer right there.
He is still up, but he is definitely looking hurt.
Don't roll critical damage. Okay, I've turned that off.
I mean, that's up to you, because if you do get a crit, then we'll just double whatever you roll. So.
What? How does that work then? Because I got 1, but then the critical damage would have been 14.
It rolls separately for each of them.
Oh, okay.
So the fact that it rolled a 1 for your regular damage and rolled a 7 and doubled it for your crit damage. So.
Stupid game.
Yep.
That is all 3 of my actions, so that's me.
You are done. Okay, Slippery Phil. You have an opportunity to set up a flank here if you'd like.
I absolutely do.
So a couple of good things to note here. Most creatures do not have opportunity attacks. So getting away from that goblin warrior should be safe. And secondly, setting up a flank like this will make this poor goblin Pyro will be flat-footed, so he'll have a -2 penalty to his AC.
Hey.
And I will double check that I do not have. Nope, my reaction is my goblin scuttle, and that has not been triggered. So carry on.
That negative to AC is way better than just gaining advantage on an attack, I think.
Follow-up question. If I wanted to stow my grappling hook and take out my sword, both of those things would each be an action, right?
We'll call it a single interact to swap weapons. That's fine.
If that's your ruling.
Yep.
All right. Well, that doesn't really give me with enough actions left to panache, so this will just be a regular strike, unfortunately.
Are you using your sword?
Yes.
Swashbuckling.
I finally buckled a swash.
Yep.
So 17, So 23 to hit.
23 is, let me see. Just double checking that it's just a hit with a -2 on his AC. 23 is still just a hit, not a crit.
Okay, so in that case, this will do a whopping 1 damage.
Oh boy. Nickels and dimes.
Death by 1,000 cuts.
All right, so that's it for Slippery Phil. And now it's time to set up the old flanking conga line, I think.
Oh, that's not good.
So now this is against your AC -2. So chop chop number 1. 16.
I'll dodge that.
Okay. And then the second slice, only a 10.
Whew.
Whew. And we're back around to Sir Sal.
All right. Okay. Well, that was unpleasant. How dare you, sir? I shall stalk towards this foul goblin, ensuring my sword is well drawn and that my gaze is fierce. And as let's see. He's looking injured, right?
He's super hurt, yeah.
Is this the guy in charge?
He's looking like he is probably like he was the one who was barking the orders for sure. I'm referring to it as his peer. So
I shall give him one last chance to turn tail and run. Yes. I will not ask again. Leave. Rethink your life. 24.
That is way better. 24 against his will DC is a critical success. So he's frightened 2.
Nice.
Poor fella. With his 3 hit points left, you scaring the little man.
Yes, that is the intent. And for his cohort, I shall do the same.
Oh, you're just going to get the other guy. Awesome.
Your morale is broken. Start a new life. 15.
15 just succeeds, so he'll be frightened.
Go home and be a family man.
So the frightened condition, you are gripped by fear and struggle to control your nerves. The frightened condition always includes a value, 1 and 2 respectively. Status penalty to this value to all checks and DCs. Unless specified, at the end of each of your turns, your frightened value decreases by 1. So it will tick down on its own, but at the end of their turns. So in the meantime, they will have a -2 penalty to Erethan. And
I am of course encouraging them to discontinue these acts.
Right. The pyro is feeling very surrounded and a little panicked here. But this is my squat. What'll that do?
Oh, right. I forgot he has to take a turn.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in danger.
I got 1 creature range. Oh, this is interact. That's okay. Damage. Yeah, sure. Okay, he's like, so you're in his face, you're being very intimidating to him, and he's like,
indeed.
I need to get out of here.
Yes, you do.
He is going to throw something at Slippery Phil. Does anyone have a reaction that's triggered by me doing...
Is it Pocket Sand?
Unfortunately, no, it's Pocket Snot.
Ugh. Well, I mean, I am already covered in mucus, so.
So you need to give me a. Oh, I make a spell attack. Okay, got it.
Well, I'm guessing that flanking will factor into that.
That's ranged though. I don't know whether I get the flanking on ranged. That's a good question. Let's look up what flanking.
We're learning together.
Sure are, because I just don't know off the top of my head. Creatures flat-footed to melee attacks from creatures that are flanking it. This is a ranged attack. But I don't want to be chased by you, so I'm going to do it anyway. So I don't get the flanking bonus, and I have a -2 penalty on whatever this rolls for us. So let's see. So it's only a 12. We got slippery fill, which I'm guessing is a miss.
Sorry, what was that number?
12.
Yeah, 12 will miss, even with my current penalties.
Okay. And now that he's done this, he realizes no one's taking free chops at him. He's just going to move. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that. Shma. That was a 2 action and a move. And now he is only frightened 1. His turn is over. Liam.
Don't do it. I know you're thinking.
I don't even know what I'm thinking.
Go jump him.
So let's see. If I was to interact to swap back to my sling, stride to get out to where I could shoot at him who's fleeing, I could maybe get a kill. That's what Liam is thinking. So Liam's going to go, he's going to interact, he's going to pull his sling back out, he's going to go scoot, shaboot right there. And then he is going to let his sling fly. Probably miss. But here we go. Sling attack. Does a 15 hit? Nope. Doesn't hit.
So close. Because he is only frightened 1 now. If he was still frightened 2, I'm pretty sure that would have hit. But double check. Frightened condition. Status penalty to all your checks and DCs. All right, so it wouldn't affect his...
Wouldn't affect his AC.
Yeah, don't think so.
It's all good. I guess that's my turn. So that's interact, stride, and strike.
Oh, hang on. AC is a DC. So you only missed by 1.
But I still missed. Okay.
Yeah, but don't you feel better knowing how close you were to actually hitting?
Yep, I feel amazing. At level 1, I missed with a 15. Like that's very telling of how different this game is.
Mm-hmm.
Like a level 1 in D&D at a 15, you'd hit most things you're striking against. That's interesting.
I mean, I'm glad that ACs are higher to compensate for the fact that like modifiers to hit are also much higher.
That's true. Yeah.
Yep. No, it's got different numbers balanced to it in general. So, because the crits are way more punishing here too. So
that too. Yeah, that's true.
Because you double everything, not just the dice. So any flat bonuses on top also get doubled. So they stack up. All right. Liam is done. Slippery Phil, you got some choices here. You can go chase down the pyro. Move into flanking on this guy.
If they're fleeing, I think what Slippery Phil is going to do is he's going to move over here to flank in case this guy does decide to put up a fight. But for my remaining 2 actions, with Phil's freehand, he's just going to grab his dueling cape and kind of like fold it around himself protectively. And then by doing that interaction, he can then take another action to give himself a +1 circumstance bonus to AC as well as deception checks to feint until the start of my next turn.
Well, that's fun.
So that'll bring my AC up to a nice, healthy 20.
Nice.
In case he does try to swing at me again.
Got it.
Or sorry, 19, not 20.
Still. Every little bit counts. And that was your 1, 2, 3 actions.
Yep, that's right.
On to the Goblin Warrior, who's also frightened of Sir Sal. He is going to take a hack at Liam because you are now standing between him and the way he wants to go. So
it's legit. Yep.
He's going to chop at you. There's a 20 hit, probably.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
5 slashing damage.
Ow.
I think not.
So that's only 19 to hit.
Still hits, yeah.
Oh, he's within 15 feet. I feel like someone might be reacting to that hit.
Yes, indeed. I told you to better your life, and yet you have absconded. Now you face steel. I'm just straight up going to cause him to hesitate under the weight of his sins as the visions of what might have happened had he listened to reason flash through his mind. He sees himself with a nice family, enjoying a pleasant crumpet and some tea, perhaps from a very nice dumpster out back. But instead, he will be forced to suffer that which is cold, hard steel.
1950s white picket house, pans up to the window. A goblin sitting on a chair smoking a pipe.
In his cardigan. And
the foe must now choose how this will play out. Either he deals no damage, or the target gains resistance against all that, against the damage, equal to 2 plus my level, which is 3. And after that is applied, the enemy becomes enfeebled 2 until the end of its next turn. So it can choose resistance and enfeeblement or negate the damage.
He's already scared. He doesn't need to be enfeebled too. So he's going to blunt the blow. So
he falters as he realizes the horrible mistake he has made with his life.
All right. Well, that sucked. That was 1 action for me. Action 2 is I'm going to move to Shma.
Sorry, did I take any damage there?
No.
Okay, all right.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Don't thank me. Thank the Lord of the Sun.
And now that he can't see Sir Sal, he's feeling much safer about taking this second swing now that he can't see you. That is only an 18 because I'm still frightened.
That still hits. Still hits, yep.
That'll legit do 5 damage this time.
Okay.
And I am no longer scared. As a reaction, this guy can step because an ally ended to move next to him. Where does he want to step to? He's going to step to y'all. Okay. Sir Sal.
Right. Well, he's made his choice. Death. We're going to have.
Listen, I'm just a cook. I don't. I wasn't supposed to be involved in any of this.
Supposed to be here today.
Sword to face.
Sword to face.
Here we go. Oh, yes.
24 to hit.
Apply directly to the forehead.
Yeah, that's 7 out of the 6 that goblin has. He's dead.
Very good.
Nice.
Step up and just boom. He just drops in a heap.
Then we shall move up and stand in front of the fleeing one.
No.
Ensure you continue this, or else you'll join your companion.
Well, crap. You guys are all nicely configured for another burning hands there, but now I'm going to have to rethink this.
Sorry to disappoint you there.
I told you, I don't start no fights, but I'll finish them.
Finish them for sure.
Whoa.
What he is going to do, and what's the range on that?
Someday, one of these enemies will just listen.
Today is not the day. All right, he's got to get a little closer. So he's first going to actually go.
Let not that thought cross your goblin brain.
And then he shoots fire at the boat. He's going to try and light the sails up.
What a jerk.
It's only 1 fire damage, but 18 would definitely hit an object. So it has, you can see that it's smoldering a little bit. It's not going to do significant damage. It hasn't even really caught. Now, if he'd done that at the grease, if you managed to catch someone in the grease and shoot fire at it, then we're talking business. But no, it seems like a more of an act of defiance than anything else. But he is not significantly damaged the boat. But that was his turn. And now we're up to Liam.
Oh, me again. Well, it's worked so well for me so far. So Liam, with his sling already out, he's going to sling him again. Hey, does a 22 hit?
Sure does. Another 1 damage.
Another 1 damage. He's got to have 1 left, right? Like just the 1?
You guys, he had 5, and you have hit him twice for 1, and Slippery Phil hit him once for 1. He is at 2 hit points.
Oh, he's still got 2.
When I said death by 1,000 cuts, I wasn't joking.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
but hey, you still got 2 actions left. So,
in that case, Liam is going to put another rock into his sling, and he's going to whip it at him. Come on, Liam, something higher than a 1. Oh, for crying out loud.
15 does not hit.
But it was the right damage.
It's sure the right damage.
Oh my goodness. All right, so I've got a third action. So let's see. Let's get a little creative here. What can I do with my third action?
You can make a third attack at a -10.
I could.
Let's do some measuring. You could get to there. You get into position to help Slippery Phil flank.
So I could get up right behind him?
If you get here, then that's 25 feet from Slippery Phil, and he can come in behind him.
But it's every diagonal is 10 after the first one, right?
Right.
So I would be 5 to there, then 10, 15, and then I'd be 25 to get right there.
Why is it not counting correct?
I don't know.
Well, that's...
So I'd need 30 feet in order to get
let's try
behind
that.
him. Yeah. So that, because that's not 20 feet. Those 3 diagonals would be 25 feet.
What is the mechanical reason that moving diagonally costs so much more? Is it just because?
Yeah, Pythagoras. It's because it's close enough to getting it right. So that's 5, 15, 20. Yeah. So now it's counting correctly. So 20, 25 gets you there.
Let's see. Is there no persuade? Or would that be diplomacy?
Yes.
You can make a request. Oh, but he's not friendly or helpful.
True.
You could give him first aid. Maybe that would make him.
That's right. Lie is three things. Yeah, I don't know that there's anything else that I can really do.
You could try it. Oh, hang on. Can you intimidate him now that he... Or is he immune to all intimidate? Once he's been intimidate. There we go. Intimidation. If you
Oh, I know what I'll do.
oh yeah,
I'll create a diversion.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
I will draw a creature's attention elsewhere.
Beautiful.
So I will stay put, and in a very loud voice and pointing behind Sir Salueni, Lee Am is going to shout out, "Look, there's more goblins coming!"
Oh, fun. All right. Let's look up what create that diversion.
So I'll roll a deception.
Deception skill action against
Hey, rolled an 18.
Perception DC. All right. So total of 18?
Yep.
All right. You have succeeded at your creating a diversion.
Hey.
Well done.
I don't know what exactly that's going to do, but I love it. It succeeded. That's what's important.
Perception DC is trying to diverge for the night. Success. You become hidden to each creature. Blah, blah, blah. All right. So creating a diversion is really a setup for hiding.
Ah.
So you need to, one action, create a diversion, and two,
hide?
Hide, basically.
Ah. Oh, well.
We're learning.
We're learning.
All right. He is distracted at any rate. The other thing, you know what? I'm going to let this one ride through because what you can do as anyone can do as a reaction, and this is one of those ones that I keep forgetting. The aid action is super important.
Oh.
I was wondering because it said action and reaction, but I wasn't sure what to
You spend an action on your turn saying, I am going to aid someone. And then when they get up to do the thing, you spend your reaction to do it. So let's roll that back and say that this diversion, you are readying to aid Slippery Phil when he gets up there to distract the guy. And that will give Slippery Phil plus on his what is your training level on the triggering skill? Are you trained, expert?
Me?
Yes.
So deception is trained.
Trained? Okay. So that will be a +2 circumstance bonus to the... Oh, wait, no, +1. Because you succeeded, you didn't crit succeed. So yes. Okay, so when Slippery Phil gets up there, you'll spend your reaction, do the distraction. We'll just carry this roll forward because it was such a good idea and way to spend your third action rather than wasting it on a -10 attack. So Slippery Phil is up.
Okay. So assuming that measurement is accurate, I can move 20 feet up here.
That's it.
I'll do a little panache because I have an action left over. So performance check. 15.
15's enough.
Okay.
As stubborn as they were not actually that willful. So you have your panache.
All right, roll to attack.
Perfect. So now, technically, this is when the reaction would go. Liam says, hey, there's more goblins coming. He goes, what? +1 to your attack.
Great. So that's going to be a 12.
It could have been an 11.
Gentlemen, I really cannot emphasize how much this is not part of my job description.
All right. That was 1, 2, 3. Oh. Hang on a sec. I think that would have been the time to use a finisher. The finisher.
But don't I need the attack to hit in that case?
No, that's the thing. If you use a finisher, you do damage even on a miss. That's your confident finisher.
Let's do that then.
Make a strike. So you have to have panache. It'll spend it. Make a strike. Blah, 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 blah. Deal half your precise strike damage to the target on a miss.
Okay, so that's 1 damage then?
Oh, your precise strike is only 2?
My precise strike is only 2. It's a drop in the bucket.
Is it still not dead?
No, he's got
this poor goblin is dragging himself across the cobblestones trying to get away from us. And we just keep taking pot shots at him with little slingshots.
Oh my goodness.
It's the freaking cat puppet in the 2 minutes.
It matters not how he tries to flee. All eventually meet justice.
Yep. You're up to meet some justice. It is.
Speaking of justice.
Stomp, stomp, stomp.
It demands retribution.
And
13 to hit.
That is a miss.
Well.
He's a wily one, this little fella.
Speaking of segues.
Oh my word.
I guess we'll go for a second one then.
Second strike. Here
Come
we
on.
go.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh dear. Level 1, everybody.
Wow.
Comedy of Errors is brought to you by Pathfinder 2nd Edition.
That feels about right. Goblin needs to leave now while he accepts that he's excruciatingly lucky.
Let's call it a tie.
Shall we call it a draw then?
Let's call the whole thing off.
He levels a shaky finger at all of you and says, oh, wait a minute. I have... Actually, no, he yells into the boat. And he says, "Hey, Nick,
oh, boy.
The relic will not allow this to continue. You dirtbag." And then he runs away. Three actions to get very far away.
Oh, wow, okay.
Run off into the... And he's gone. Unless you're really intent on chasing him down, in which case I'll have to learn how to do chase mechanics on the fly.
Say, is he 100 feet away?
He would be 75 with 3 moves.
Sling! My sling is 100-foot range.
Do it. You get one last crack.
Get him! Sling!
Oh my God. As he's running off the stairs, he's just about free. And then just crack right in the center of the back of his head and just boom, face down onto the steps.
Good shot!
Wow.
That wasn't exactly sporting. I mean, he was running away.
Agreed, though we gave him plenty of chance to turn about, and he only did so when his life was in peril, which I would argue are for the wrong reasons.
Look, the last time we thought we got them all, more of them came out of the woodwork, so I just figured.
It's just you attacked him while his back was turned and he was running away. This seems like something about that just seems sort of unsportsmanlike. Gentlemen, I will be completely honest. I did not like any of that one bit.
Well, pardon, Phil. Perhaps once again, the light of Seng can be graced upon your slippery form, and you shall find a semblance of peace as it soothes your hurt pride and body. And I will again struggle to place my hand upon his slippery body.
Très bon.
Slips and slides until I'm able to do some lay-on hands.
You're also covered in grease right now, which is helpful.
Yes. It is. It's just a disaster.
Just a commingling of slimes.
You may restore 6 hit points.
Hooray.
Just to get plus 2 AC for 1 round.
Also, what was that about the relic? Was that part of our job description? Is that a thing? Is that an organization?
Perhaps it would be worth investigating and asking our fellow Nick about it.
I mean, if we are going to be working for this Nicholas, I feel like we should probably have all of this information up front.
Yes, I too would rather like to know if we should be expecting goblins out of the woodworks, as you put it.
Did anybody else find it weird that goblin seemed to be on a first-name basis with our query?
Considering that they were threatening him when we arrived, it's not that surprising.
I suppose that's fair.
I assume it had something to do with I assume that this was not a crime of passion.
Probably not. So as you guys are sort of discussing this, Aid comes around from the back of the building, and Bass has, it's probably a goblin arm in his mouth, and is sort of happily chewing away on it. And it sort of gives everyone a subtle nod and falls into place without much of a word.
This has been a strange first day on the job, I have to say.
Yeah, I realize now that these guys are running for the wrong boat. Nick's boat is actually down here, but that's okay.
We're learning. We're learning.
Some guy we don't recognize just poked his head over the side. Who the hell is Nick?
What are you doing burning my friggin' sails?
You got the wrong guy.
So when the commotion does sort of fall down and your captain does come out onto the deck of the boat, and is everything okay out there? He sort of calls across the pier to you.
Well, assuming that was the last of them.
Well, why don't you come get aboard and we can maybe shove off and we can discuss en route.
I prefer if we did not shove off once we've boarded. That seems rather counterproductive. And I, for one, do not swim well while wearing the armor of the Lord. I sink like a rock.
Okay. Jesse is going to have to educate you on some sailing terms.
All I know is that the glittering light of the child above shines upon the waters and creates a sparkling vista of which only those of his order can truly appreciate. And I wish for all of you to join me each morning in proving that we aspire to be the best of ourselves and witness the glory that is the light of the sun glancing upon the open water.
So
Right.
the boat?
Get on the ship, would you?
Right, yes, of course.
Would this be a horrible time to request a bio break?
This would be a great time.
Yep.
Let's do that. So we'll do a quick break, and then we'll be back for part 2.
Hey, Elderbrain Collective. If you've been enjoying our live stream D&D campaign and want to support us, there are many ways you can do just that, and we would be super grateful. Seriously, it'd be awesome. First, of course, make sure you're following us on Twitch. Once we get our 50 followers goal, we can make our stream even better with subscriber perks. Then, be sure to follow our Twitter account. Subscribe to our YouTube channel where we post stream VODs as well as additional content coming soon. Of course, you can listen to audio transcripts of our stream on Podbean if that's your preference. Of course, you'll miss out on our handsome faces, but you get our incredible voices, so it's pretty good. You want to hang out with the collective and chat D&D and, well, everything else? Head over to our Discord server. It's open to anyone who wants to join. Finally, we've just launched our Patreon page, which is the optimum and best way to support us. That's redundant, optimum is best. Each tier gets you additional perks, including exclusive Discord emotes, monthly digital content, behind-the-scenes info and creature stats, and, for the truly faithful, You can even gain power over the PCs in-game, live on stream, and have an impact on what happens next. I think that's pretty awesome. We'd love your support. You can find the links to all of our sites on our link tree. Check out linktr.ee/elderbrain, linktree/elderbrain. We hope to see you joining us soon as a member of the collective. Happy gaming, everyone.
Whispers in the window are angry waves. Way ho, the sea of souls. Down to the mists as the ocean slaves. Way ho, the sea of souls. Way ho, the sea of souls. Way ho, the sea of souls. Hoist the sails round the eddies and shoals. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Oh, way ho, the sea of souls. Way ho, the sea of souls. Hoist the sails round the eddies and shoals. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Sea of souls.
Greetings, wary travelers. My name is Mike, and I will be playing the role of Dinar Neurixius, Dragonborn wizard on the Sea of Souls. Allow me to get into character and we can learn a little bit more about this pale golden dragon. Being chosen is supposed to be a good thing. Chosen by the gods to serve a purpose. However, it can mean facing a life alone. I was born in our homeland, Drakor, in the east. And though these scales are supposed to be a blessing, I was reviled by so many. I could see their jealousy, could feel their stares. My own people shunned me, and so I left. I still drew stares when I arrived in Stormhaven. It's hard to miss these scales. But the dwarves were far more accepting of me. I learned I could put my magic to good use out on the seas, so I served aboard a ship, adding my arcana to their arsenal. Maybe one day I'll return home. Maybe they will welcome me as Verithan's champion. Or at least, as kin. For now, though, life among the Gungrim is good. I am used to standing out here, used to towering over this good folk. But what they lack in size, they make up for in heart.
Hi, I'm Ian, and I play the goblin Flick Dogslicer, an Eldritch Knight fighter. Once upon a time, there was a goblin named Flick. That's me. He was a good egg, but as a recently emancipated man, he didn't necessarily have the firmest grasp on the rules of free society, and often ended up on the wrong side of the law. So anyway, I'm in this back alley, minding my own business, rooting through the trash, when this old guy in a blue dress and a big floppy hat with stars and crap all over it comes out of nowhere screaming, "Oh my god, it's a goblin," and starts shooting fire out of his hands at me. So I shanked him. I didn't mean to kill him per se, but, heat of the moment and all that. Now even I knew how this would play out with the guard, so I'm looking for a quick escape. But this old guy didn't even have the courtesy of carrying a coin purse, just this big stupid book. So, yoink, and I beat feet to the pier and sign aboard the first ship that's looking for crew. Long story short, with enough time and patience, even a bozo like me can figure out a little magic from that big old book. I joined a good crew and enjoy my life as a seafaring mercenary, trying to keep ahead of the law and maybe make a coin or two for myself. The end. By Flick.
Greetings, tale seekers and story watchers. I am Devon, medieval enthusiast and D&D veteran since my 11th birthday when I received the 3rd edition starter set. led to a bit of a collection. I will be playing the part of Tayland Wavesinger, human bard and mariner, master of the weaponized sea shanty. Oh, it'd be alright if the wind was at our sails. Tayland is a man slowly being consumed by his own faults. He drinks far too much, and has quite a ruthless disposition against those he dislikes. But he still tries to do what's right when he can. As for his goals, well, I'll let him tell you. Oh, me name is Tayland Wavesinger, and I quickly tell to you of a man that I am a-hunting across the ocean blue, with power over the sea and sky. Believe me when I say that when I finally find the bastard, it'll be his last day.
In Xanadu did Kubla Khan a stately pleasure dome decree, where Alf, the sacred river, ran through caverns measureless to man. Down to a sunless sea.
Torque is a Tortle barbarian, presumed to be the sole survivor of the Loggerhead tribe. Even by Tortle standards, Torque is a taciturn individual, never deigning to use 5 words where 2 will suffice, and as such has been less than forthcoming in sharing his personal history with his compatriots. What is known of Torque is that he was discovered on a remote island by a passing merchant vessel, having apparently been marooned there for some years in the wake of a shipwreck which destroyed the rest of his tribe. It is for this reason that Torque holds a special reverence for Desfuna, goddess of the ocean, whom he believes spared his life in the ocean's storm that decimated his kin. Having spent the better part of a decade in near total isolation, Torque is unfamiliar with the ways of the modern world, and his social skills are somewhat lacking. It is perhaps for this reason that he has chosen to align himself with allies who are blessed in the gift of gab, as he continues on his pilgrimage, the destination of which is unknown even to himself. Hi everyone, my name is Jack, and I am not a professional voice actor or performer by any means. However, I do have a serious passion for tabletop RPGs, and I hope that you enjoy this upcoming game as much as we're going to enjoy playing it.
Hey Elderbrain Collective, if you've been enjoying our live stream D&D campaign and want to support us, there are many ways.
And welcome back. Everyone has refreshed. We've got our microphones sorted out now, we think. And in the break, we also sorted out that Jack's confident finisher should have done more than 1 damage. Well, could have. It should have done half of the 2d6, so technically it could have still done 1 damage if you'd rolled really poorly on your 2d6. But
let's just pretend that's what happened.
That seems to be the narrative that we were building there.
Yes. Swashbucklers are a lot of fun. They've also got a lot of moving parts.
So,
Still gonna stick with it.
where did I have that bit written down? Oh. Oh yes. Okay. So yes, Nick has brought you aboard Persephone. He's saying let's make ready to leave. Did you guys want to do anything else before we take off?
I don't think there's any other business we have in town, is there?
I don't think so.
All right. All right. Then he is going to, at this point, his mate, Jessie, is going to come out. She's still a little wobbly from the first bunch of goblins that you guys dispatched. But she seemed like she's at least functional again. So she's able to direct you guys on how to get the sails rigged, get the lines cast off from the pier, and soon enough, you push out into the open waters. And as soon as you're sort of out into the bay, you can see sort of Nikolai sort of visibly relaxes as he sort of settles in at the wheel. And he's just wind in all your hairs, the sun's shining. It's a beautiful afternoon. It's after lunch, so you still have a good number of hours of daylight left. And he sort of calls back to Jessie and says, why don't you pull out the map and we'll explain what we're getting into here. And she goes and gets a map. And as he's sort of sailing, he's sort of gesturing over his shoulder and filling you in on this big lead that he's gotten. It's like, my buddy Gorman pulled up something very interesting while fishing a couple of weeks ago. A small statuette. This one, in fact. And he sort of pulls it out from, he had it in a little sack around his waist. It's not a very big thing, but he was keeping it on his person, which is a little odd. And it's a little barnacle-covered statuette. It's sort of water smooth, like it's been submerged for quite some time. It's about the size of a club. Are any of you, I now need to look at skills. Is there a history skill? Or is there specific lores?
Yeah, there's different lores. Like I have lore and warfare.
There's not a generic history. So let's go with society. Let's have everyone roll a society check just to see if you.
Ooh, I'm trained in society.
Ooh.
I am not.
Society.
So I'm not trained, but I did get a nat 20.
I'm apparently not trained very well in society.
15.
15.
Yes. I think I read about this in the brochure.
So what was your total with the nat 20?
20.
Nice. Awesome.
For all this,
so you've at least heard of the fabled lost city of T'Chak.
I think I've heard the name on my travels once or twice.
Right.
Oh.
Ancient center of an ancient empire that fell a millennium ago.
That is what I have heard as well, yes.
So obviously this is not, right, we haven't uncovered the lost city because we don't have a huge lost city just here in the middle of the islands where the fishermen go all the time. But
if it did, I assume that it would not be called the lost city for very long, no?
Yeah, exactly. So maybe we found an outpost or a colony or something. And check this out. And he flips the statuette over and he shows you the bottom. It's like, why do I think we've got a lead? Take a look at this. And unlike the rest of the statuette, the bottom is actually like jagged stone rather than smooth. And he's sort of saying, see, it was never really intended to stand on anything like this. So this is a piece that snapped off of somewhere.
Ooh.
So a pillar or a building or something this was attached to has now become detached recently because it's not smooth with the water. So hopefully somewhere on, and then he pulls out the map. It's going to be this map. You guys. So somewhere on this island is hopefully a ruin. The red X here is where the statuette was found. He points to the north end of the island where he is intending to anchor for the night. And this is when Jesse pipes in and says, "You're leaving out a critical piece of information for our greenhorns here. The reason nobody's done this before, no one's ever found this ruin or anything like that on this island, or why we can't do it, the two of us." And Nick, looking a little sheepish, is like, "Well, yes, the island is known to be occupied." And Jesse just sort of, "Orcs. The place is bleeding infested with orcs."
Oh.
Yes.
And this is a problem, is it?
I am guessing that they do not have a stellar policy on foreign invaders.
Well, see, this is the thing. The orcs tend to keep to the beach at the south. The fishermen tend to keep to the sort of northern edges here. Gorman himself was straying a little further south than they tend to when he found the statuette. So I figure what we can do is we'll swoop in, we'll drop you at the northern beach where the fishermen normally go, and we will await your return from a safe distance where I can see you from shore and where I will not get a dozen orc arrows into my face. You go explore where the thing happened, see if you can find anything, and report back. I suspect this is going to be a one-time opportunity. Get in, find out what's there. If the orcs haven't occupied it, then they will once they know it's there. So we're going to have to get in and find what's worth finding and get out. And this might be our only chance, at least at our pay grade.
One last question. Those goblins that accosted us on the deck, were those former colleagues of yours, or they seem to know an awful lot about these plans? I'm just wondering what the history there is.
How would they know about my plans? Goblins.
I heard one of them mention something about the relic. I assume that they were referring to this statuette.
Mm.
When you mention the relic, he rolls his eyes very heavily and says, "That old coot is crazy if he thinks he can intimidate me with a bunch of goblins." Okay, Relic was my biggest competitor for years. We wasn't a friendly competition, but it was strictly business back then. He had an accident a couple of years ago that left him unable to work his boat anymore. And for some reason, he's blaming me for his injuries. If he's now tied up with goblin gangs and everything else, that's not good news. Somewhere deep inside him, there is a heart, I promise you. But he was always pretty competitive and held a grudge. Didn't think he'd stoop this low. Probably best that we're putting some distance between Central and us for a few days, just to let this goblin business cool down.
Do you think he'll have anything awaiting us, possibly on the waters or stowaways?
Stowaways, probably not, unless any of you, and he's no, we are.
I can assure you that we are on the side of light.
Well, I vetted you pretty heavily before allowing you in on this deal, so I'm pretty confident in our little crew here. Let's assume that Relic is back in Central and him and his goblins don't know what we're up to. I think they were just being territorial. I hope that's all it was.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose we will find out soon enough, no?
This is true. Now, daylight's burning. Let's make some headway, and we should be at the north end of the island. Safe spot to anchor for the night. And we can set you down on the beach first light tomorrow morning, if that's amended to everyone.
Très magnifique. I will go get started on our dinner for the night then.
Excellent. So there's not much of a galley to speak of here, but there is a small. It's functional, but it's not very extravagant.
I think he'll probably make do. I think that growing up in a swamp, I think Slippery Phil is kind of used to the style of cooking of like what is available to me and how can I combine these ingredients into something palatable. So he'll just dig around, probably find like some root vegetables and maybe hopefully some sort of broth, and just try to like make like a really simple stew.
Can't be any worse than the stuff we had on the Crusades.
And meanwhile,
a little hardtack for dipping,
And Aid is sort of standing at the back of the boat, sort of watching where he came from, arms crossed, Bass at his feet, still chewing on that goblin arm.
How long is he going to keep that? It's beginning to smell.
Aid just sort of looks over at you and a gentle shrug, and then goes back to his gazing.
Well, ask silly questions, get silly answers, I suppose.
All right, so at this point, we can take a long rest.
Hey.
So everyone, the assumption is that you can perform healing. What is it? Medicine checks? What are those? It's medicine skill. I can never remember what the difference between first aid.
There's a medicine skill.
Treat wounds is the one that you can do once every hour. So over the course of the evening, you should be able to do enough treat wounds to heal everyone up to full hit points, and then do whatever your daily preparations are. So get your alchemical bombs back. I don't think anyone's got much in the way of spells.
Not particularly, no. Maybe one of us should have played a spellcaster just to fully capture what's, the Pathfinder experience, but next character for sure.
I feel like every spellcaster is subtly different. So it's even worse than the comparing, wizard, cleric, warlock as sort of the big three archetypes of the way they do it in 5e. I think there's more gradations between those. So
understandable.
Because it's back to the previous Pathfinder edition of, picking which spells you prepare rather than having slots for some classes, and others are the spontaneous casters who just know spells and have slots. So,
right.
I have a spell, so this doesn't really bother me.
Yep.
And it's barely a spell. It's lay on hands.
Yeah. All righty. So the morning comes, and
with it rises our Lord the sun. And of course, upon the break of morning, I shall be found upon the deck, sword drawn, performing exquisite motions of combat in order to show my providence towards his gaze.
It's quite impressive. for the rest of you to
I
display.
I made us breakfast.
Very good. I shall partake as soon as I am finished with my morning exertions.
I made a new bomb. It explodes with lightning.
Your turn. Parry, dodge, spin. Ha! Thrust. Get ready, guys, every morning.
I'll make sure to work it into my routine.
All right. So Nikolai sort of steers the boat around to the. Actually, select everything. No, you guys are swimming now. Haha.
Hey.
He brings the boat around to the edge of the island, drops you off on the beach, and then pulls out into deeper water. You can see that there's a few fishermen sort of starting to come in and working the shallows here. And Nikolai sort of waves to you from the ship and sort of gestures that you should get into the tree cover as soon as possible. He wants this to be as a covert a mission as possible.
Right, understandable.
So now we are going to enter into exploration mode, which we touched upon last time. I know how to spell exploration. Here we go. So exploration mode we are being less regimented than regular encounters. So basically everyone should pick an activity that you are doing during the exploration. So there's some standard ones like avoiding notice or defending or detecting magic. Unfortunately, you don't have aid would have been perfect for this one because there's one called follow the expert where you have one person who's doing a skill and everyone else sort of follows them. So have the survival guy leading the path. Or you can hustle, investigate, repeat a spell, scout, or search.
I feel like Slippery Phil will probably be moving stealthily, trying to avoid notice, just based on what we were saying before about covert and not wanting to get shot full of arrows.
All good.
Well,
All right.
I can certainly try.
If there's something else that you would prefer, like
Can I choose to follow the expert?
Follow the expert of stealth. Yeah.
Oh, for stealth? Because I feel like I am not a stealth person.
Yeah, it even says this is a good way to help a character with a low stealth modifier sneak around. So there we go.
Do I need to roll stealth, or is it just like?
So you are being what was it called again? Avoid notice, yes, and follow the expert. All right. So to avoid notice, so you're traveling at half speed to do this. Blur. If you're using avoid notice, okay, so the difference here is you're not going to really roll until an encounter happens.
Gotcha.
When we start an encounter, you're going to roll stealth for your initiative. That's kind of the follow the expert. Are you an expert in stealth?
Probably not, considering I'm level 1. I'm trained in stealth.
Okay. So we cannot do follow the expert because you need to be at least an expert.
That does make sense.
So looking at some of the other choices we have here, now that I actually have the table up.
Liam will investigate.
Okay. So investigating, that's just basically keeping your eyes open. You can try to recall knowledge.
Yep.
Okay, so you're keeping your eyes open for any clues or hints, and hopefully something will jump out.
I also move at half speed.
Yes, so since someone's being stealthy and moving half speed anyway, so that's fine. One I might suggest for you, Devin, would be defend.
Yeah, that's probably going to be the best option at this point then. Yeah, I would agree. I shall raise my shield and keep a defensive stance, remembering the days when we marched through the unkempt wilds, encroaching upon our enemy during the Crusades.
So the good news is I did set up the scale correctly on this map. So we know how far you have to travel. So it's not a long trip to get from where you were dropped to where you're going, but a couple of miles at half speed. So it takes you half speed. Travel times. Not the travel domain, you silly thing. Travel speed. So miles per hour. So you normally go about 2.5 miles per hour at regular speed. So
a mile and a quarter.
Yeah. So to get those 2 miles, it'll take you a couple hours to get there. So
a small price to pay for not getting
shot jump by an entire tribe of orcs. Yeah.
I think slow and steady will probably win this race.
As you're traveling, and the beach is definitely, so you're sort of keeping to the tree line a little bit.
Yeah.
Seems like Sir Sal is more content to stand out in the open on the beach. Got good line of sight this way.
If we are attacked, I shall take the brunt of the blow.
Sun's glinting off your armor beautifully out here. Why would you go in the shade?
Excellent.
And sort of the middle ground, Liam, is sort of darting in and out, just looking around, trying to find any signs of the thing that you're looking for.
Sounds
so you continue in this fashion for a while until I drag you onto an encounter map for no apparent reason.
Oh, yeah,
no apparent reason.
Just change the scenery.
Yeah. So I'll put slippery fill. Oops, I will not measure. I'll put slippery fill in here. I will double check that no, it's somehow put everything on 5e. Okay, it should now be measuring squares correctly on diagonals. Yes, we are. Hooray. So slippery fill, I'll put you in the bushes here. Okay. So any of the squares with foliage in them, just consider those to be cover. Or hang on.
Oh,
did I actually write that down? That'd be really smart of me. Nope. I didn't write it down. I just looked it up and then forgot it. Let's look about cover and concealment, because I think is there a difference between cover and concealment in this game? Maybe not. So, block, weapons, guard, exposed, make you harder to detect. At any rate, the ones with bushes in them are basically, they'll be providing some concealment. You'll have the ability, if you want to hide, you can hide in those squares.
Okay.
Liam, do you want to be next to Sir Sal or off in the bushes with slippery fill for the start of this?
Given that I'm investigating, trying to find clues as to the whereabouts of the relic, I think I'm probably not hiding in the bushes. Probably trying to get sight lines on the water and stuff.
Okay.
So out by Sal. Sir Perfect. Sal, sorry. Sorry, Devin.
I was about to say.
So at this point, I'm going to pull up the turn order. So Slippery Phil is going to roll stealth, and you will be considered hidden to anything that you beat in the initiative order.
Nice.
And since they're going to be rolling perception on theirs, and the other two of you will be rolling perception on your initiative. As you see, there are to your south, kind of how zoomed in or out you are, you see there's a couple of orcs making their way up the beach. They don't appear, they look like they're out on a guard patrol, if you were to.
Okay, so I'm
Look like-
rolling.
So you're rolling stealth. The other two are
Stealth.
rolling.
Oh, that was a 19. So total of 24.
That is a pretty good roll. And Liam got
Oh,
a-
I forgot to select my token. Sorry.
That's fine. Apparently that happens from time to time. What just happened?
I don't know.
Did I put you I put you onto a different layer?
That's it.
Do.
There I am.
I was trying to click on this menu item. So sorry, you got a 20.
Yeah.
Then I need to pull up a character sheet for something called Pleasant Little Creature. I'm sure they're here to make friends.
They're not big, nasty orcs. Although maybe they're not. Oh, no, they are.
Well, they're called orc brutes, so you do the math. They look pretty strong. And they look, I think the other thing you would note is that they look fairly primitive, right? They're wearing hides. They've got, what are their weapons? Yeah, they've got these like sort of, it's almost like a punching dagger.
Oh.
So they've got like weapons strapped to their hands.
Tar.
And they look ferocious. They've got, just for their standard walking around day, they've got war paint on. So, yeah.
Probably not the welcoming party then, yeah.
Yes, they look like they're itching to fight, and you guys are here. So
Out looking for trespassers.
yeah.
Do you guys not go out for your Sunday strolls wearing war paint? Is that just me? Guess
All
just
right.
me. Okay.
And Slippery Phil is up.
What I think Slippery Phil is going to do is, so if I take the sneak action, I just move without giving away my position, right?
Yep.
Okay, so I'd like to just sneak 3 times to get up over there.
I think you sneak slower though.
If that reduces my speed.
Yes.
I guess I didn't consider that.
Sneak half speed.
So half of 75. Do we round up or down for that? Or to the nearest 5?
Since you're doing multiple actions of it, I'll give you to the nearest 5.
Okay.
So you get 35 basically.
Assuming that talking is a free action, Slippery Phil will just like signal to the others like, I will scout ahead. Perhaps we can sneak around these gentlemen.
Gentlemen.
Whoops. I don't think I did that right, but I guess 35 takes me to about here.
Boy. Yep, good enough. All right, that was 3 sneaky actions.
Yep.
You remain undetected. All right, Liam is up then. Range finder there. 75 to 80 feet away from you. So well within range of your sling if you want to just open fire or do something else.
It was so effective on my last slingshot.
Well, the very last slingshot, yes, that
Yes.
was the closer.
I believe that I will start with a stride because I'm assuming that Sir Sal is going to join me. So we'll go 5, 10, 15, 20.
I can join you
25.
if you wish.
Rash
What is
assumption.
my movement speed? Is 25 feet. So there's my first stride. I will. I mean, if I was investigating, I probably didn't have a weapon out. I imagine I was
Probably not.
Probably not. So I will interact to pull out a sling, or pull out my sling. And then I will... So ready to action requires 2 actions.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it is demanding.
That's tough. Yeah, that's tough. Okay.
There is another option. You've already used actions this turn, but also keep in mind that you can delay your entire turn if you wanted to wait and come in at a different point in the initiative order.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind. I guess I'll just stick there. If they look like they have strictly melee weapons attached to their arms, I'm pretty far away from them. Sal's going to join me, so I'll wait to see if they're hostile or not.
Okay. Well,
so that will be my turn.
Soon enough. Now, jam.
As this one runs up and guts me.
Oh, better than that. He reaches sort of up behind his back, and you didn't really notice it before, but he has a small furry creature.
Oh.
That he sets down at his feet, and he sees you guys, and he just points and says something in Orcish. Does anyone speak Orcish out of curiosity?
No.
He says something very intimidating sounding in Orcish.
Is that an angry beaver?
It certainly is.
And his trained attack beaver is going to...
That's awesome.
See, this is why I decided to hide. This is why I was like, let's sneak around them.
Let's see, that's 1 action to order his beaver. Oh, it only moves. It's not very fast.
Yay.
Oh, it swims 25. It menacingly waddles towards you.
Oh, I'm gonna get you.
Good old beavers.
Yeah. Oh, 1 more square. There we go. It uses its 2 actions to move up, and it's a nasty looking little thing. It looks like they've been sharpening his teeth. And it is also done up in war paint. And it's kind of adorable, but also kind of really mean looking. So yeah, no, there's an attack beaver coming. That was 1 action, 2 actions. I will move my 25 feet. And 3 actions. Well, actually, yeah. I will see he pulls out a javelin. But that is his turn.
Ooh.
And that we're at Sir Sal.
Well, it's very clear that they are already quite violent.
Yes.
However, I would be remiss if I were to not give them at least the chance to understand that they have met with death. What I will do is, now this beaver, of course, can't possibly comprehend the concept of morality and redemption and mercy and all that. So, unfortunately, it is 30 feet away, which is very unappealing to me. Because when we were doing the exploration, I took the defense. Does that mean my shield is raised at the moment?
Yes. You start combat with your shield raised.
And does that last until the end of my turn?
Yes.
Okay. And that doesn't affect anything else?
No.
Okay. I didn't think so.
Yeah, basically you don't have to use the razor shield action this turn.
Sounds good. That's pretty nice. So I shall move forward since my companions have decided to charge.
I decided to scout ahead while remaining hidden.
Yes.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I was willing to allow you to do that. And then our friend Liam decided blood. I really want to try and intimidate this orc, but I also just want to attack this beaver.
I will point out
The eternal conundrum.
if you do not share a language, you will take a -4 circumstance penalty to the check.
Not true, because I have the intimidating glare feat, meaning I only have the visual trait. It does not have the auditory trait for me.
Oh, no, you just give him the look, huh?
Exactly.
So the speechifying is just extra for the rest of us.
I care not what language they speak. I speak the language of retribution, justice, and redemption. I'm gonna attack this beaver. I will use the attack on the beaver to, on my next turn, emphasize why they should listen to me. I don't know much about orcs, but I imagine if one would travel the regions, they might learn that orcs value strength and honor. And so by honorably killing this thing, I will be proving both of those.
I really thought that you were about to say Sal doesn't know about orcs, but he knows a lot about beavers.
I know one thing about beavers, and that is that they are very vulnerable to blades. 23 to hit.
23 to hit is a solid hit.
Unfortunately, it's not a very strong hit.
5 damage. The beaver still stands. It hisses at you, though. It's like it snarls and rears back, and you see the orc's eyes just go wide as you strike at the beaver, and he says something. No. He's not happy that you hit his pet.
That was the intention.
Mm-hmm.
That's one buff beaver.
Does he not have a bar?
This ferocious beast is truly abhorrent. And I believe my shield is raised, and with that, I have nothing else to do because I have moved twice to reach the beaver. Actually, I will say I think I'm gonna because opportunity attacks aren't a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Is it better for me to remain where in front of the beaver between it and my companions as sort of a block? But I mean, it could just charge my companions. So is it better for me to actually come around the other side so that I'm closer to the orcs? Or is me being between them, I feel like there's no benefit to that, right?
Yeah. Basically, you want to position yourself in a way that they have to spend more actions to get to you than you spend to get to them. That's kind of the goal, right?
But I'm also trying to act as the party's tank.
Right.
I want them to come to me. So if I move the other way around, I'm a better target for the orcs.
Yep.
It's just that the beaver may be like, but it could do that anyway. So, although something tells me that beaver hates me right now. Okay, I shall move to the opposite side of that beaver. This is a weird conversation.
The word beaver is coming up a lot more often than it used to. All right, my orc brute is going to go. He is going to move his 25 feet. Shma. And then he's just going to punch you a couple of times with his knuckle dagger here. Ooh. How daring am I? I'm feeling like using mechanics.
Yep.
Because that's what we're here for. I have one hand free. Target is not more than one size larger than me. I'm going to attempt to disarm you with my first attack.
Ooh.
No.
So, what is this? I am going against your reflex DC.
Oh, that's not good.
So whatever your reflex save plus 10, and this is my athletics check to attempt to disarm you.
So that's going to be a 13.
I rolled a 10.
Aha!
So I didn't critically fail, which is good because if I did, then I would have become off balance and flat-footed. I need to critically succeed to knock it out of your grasp. Otherwise, subsequent disarm attempts would just be at a bonus. But that's just an athletics check. That's not even an attack. Oh, it does have the attack. Sorry. So as you're reading rules, you're going to notice that they have the keywords in the little boxes at the top.
Yes.
And those are important because they'll tell you things about things like an attack trait on this particular action says that it increments my multi-attack penalty. So even though it was just a skill check, it still kind of counts as an attack. All right, so that didn't work. Sun is going to punch at you with my dagger for the second. My knuckle dagger. It's called. 16 to hit. Your shield is up. That's no way.
My shield is up. That will not hit. No, absolutely not.
Beautiful. All right, then.
You dare strike the hand of the sun.
Well, I tried to strike the sword of the sun first, but then.
That's even more of an offense.
All right, slippery Phil.
Well, Sir Sal is flanked right now, and that's no good. Actually, I guess I can do this from here. I don't need to move. Oh, actually, I do need to move. Never mind. I'm going to take a 5-foot step over here, and I'm going to take out the grappling hook. I am going to, since we were just talking about combat maneuvers, I'm going to attempt to use my battle grapnel to lasso and make a grapple check against the beaver to try and pull it away from Sal.
Fun. All right. Let's see what grapple looks like. You have one hand free.
Yes.
Target is not more than one size larger than you. So this is the item you're using allows you to do this at range, I'm assuming.
Yes, it has the grapple property. You can use this weapon to grapple with the athletic skill, even if you don't have a free hand. This uses the weapon's reach and adds the weapon's item bonus to attack rolls. I guess that's
perfect.
Anyway.
So you are making athletics against my fortitude DC.
Alrighty.
Beaver's fortitude is
big ol' 0. Oh, but I did roll a 17.
Hey.
Exactly. You hit it to the point.
Nice.
Okay.
It's a hardy little beaver with a fortitude of +7.
I've moved and I've grappled. What can I do now that I've grappled the beaver?
You succeeded. He is grabbed until the end of your next turn, unless you move or he uses an action to escape. Grab means that he can't. He is flat-footed and immobilized. And if he attempts any manipulate actions while grabbed, he has to do a flat check or lose it.
Okay.
And blah blah blah. Okay.
Is he still considered flanking Sal if he's flat-footed and immobilized, or?
He's currently not flanking just because they'd have to be directly across.
Okay.
So that's a flanking position there or there. But
and I suppose if there's a rope extending out from the bushes ensnaring this beaver, I suppose I can't really hide again, can I?
You have kind of revealed there is something going on in the bushes, yes.
Okay. With my remaining action, I am going to use a free hand to grab my dueling cape so that I can hopefully give myself a bit of an armor boost moving forward.
Gotcha. All right, he is grabbed. I'm going to just real fast put line there just so we know what's going on with that. All right, Slippery Phil is done. Liam is up. And you've got a bandolier chock full of fresh bombs.
I do. And Sir Sal is right in the middle of all of them.
I mean, some creative throwing, you know.
You could get this guy.
I could get that guy. That's true.
Without splashing Sal.
And I think that's what Liam is going to do. So Liam, using his quick alchemy feat, gets to draw and throw the bomb with one action. So we will check I can only throw it 20 feet, so I have to make sure I'm close enough. I am not. So Liam is going to go 5, 10, 15 to there. That should bring me within 20. Yep. And I will huck a bottle of Lesser Alchemist Fire. And let's see if I've set this up properly. Hey! Does a 20 hit?
20 sure hits.
Hey!
So he takes 8 damage plus the 1 splash.
That was a good roll.
That was a good roll.
On the damage, too.
So he goes from cocky to super hurt.
Yeah.
And partially on fire.
So he takes that D8
Oh, and persistent fire as
fire
well.
damage. He takes 1 persistent fire damage.
You know, it's like Mike Tyson said, everybody's got a plan until they get set on fire.
Quotable guy, that Mike Tyson.
Well.
All right, well, he's on fire. That's important to remember.
Yay.
I need to look up one thing just out of curiosity. Persistent damage. When does that tick?
That's a good question.
Persistent damage, blah, blah, blah. Take it at the end of each of your turns as long as you have the condition. And is there a way to shake that persistent damage? I guess is the other question.
Is there like a put out fire action?
Stop, drop, and roll.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds like 3 actions when you put it that way.
Stay. I think that we don't even bother consulting the rules. That's just the way that is. Yeah.
Yeah. The bomb deals 1 persistent fire damage. All right, maybe the persistent damage thing. Persistent damage. Oh, there we go. After you take persistent damage, roll a DC 15 flat check to see if you recover. So I could just automatically shake it. So I don't have to do anything, but I'm on fire for a bit.
All right. So
All right,
that was
moved, you've thrown a bomb.
Oh, right. That was I did move. In that case, then. So talk to me again about how aid would work. So if I wanted to use my last action to aid.
So pick someone that you want to help.
Uh-huh.
And then so spend an action to say you're going to try and help them. And then when they are about to make a skill check or an attack, you can use your reaction to do something to help. And then we decide on the fly what you're doing and how that's going to help.
Okay. And is there, like, what could I do as a reaction? Like calling out a weak spot, or would I have to actually do something? I'm asking just because my hands are empty right now. I've thrown my bomb.
Basically, you make a skill check.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Explain to the GM exactly how you're trying to help. You make a skill check against a unknown DC. Depending on what you choose to do, I might make it easier or harder. So it'll depend. I'll let you know before you make the check what your DC is going to be.
So would that be I'd have to pick a skill?
Yeah, basically you're going to pick
Okay.
something to do, and we'll pick a skill instead of DC.
Okay.
So like last time when you used deception to say, "Oh, there's more goblins coming,"
Right. Okay. All right.
that was a relatively probable thing that could have happened. So I said it. DC, you beat it. You're good.
Okay. All right. Okay. So then I will aid Sir Sal in his continued attack. I'm assuming on that orc that he's standing in front of.
Well, we'll see.
All righty. And
Depends how wise it is.
done. So it is now the on fire orc's turn. He does not like being on fire.
Understandable.
He has a javelin out. He's going to chuck it at you, Liam.
Oh, he's not going to try to put out the fire?
You could run into the ocean.
He could,
That's true.
I mean, he doesn't have to put out the fire. That's fine with me.
No, the fire might go out automatically on its own at the end of his turn. He makes a
Oh,
flat
okay.
check.
End of his turn. I see.
Yes, because although I'm figuring alchemist fire is more napalmy, so it might
Yeah.
take a while. He just run into the water might not be enough. All right, javelin. Here we go. 16 to hit Liam.
That misses.
Son of a bitch. All right, javelin sails over your head. He is going to run up to you and just a big running punch with this fist dagger.
Ow.
Yeah, no, he's just too on fire to hit you.
It's been one of those days, you know?
Yeah. So he takes the 1 fire damage, then I will roll my flat check. So if this is a 15 or higher, then persistent goes out. It does not. He continues to burn. All right, Sir Salueni, you have a beaver in your face and an orc brute beside you. The beaver is currently grappled. It is flat-footed, flat-tailed, but sharp teeth. Suddenly it got very quiet. Devin,
Well,
he's thinking. He's quietly thinking. Got it.
This is what we call a target-rich environment. This beaver needs to go, first of all.
Well, Slippery Phil has him lassoed for you, so
yes, I shall be
served up on a platter.
A death. 22.
All right, so he's making an attack roll. Do you want to use your help now or save it for if he makes another attack?
I did specify if he attacks the orc, so I feel like it'd be wrong for me to use it against the beaver.
All right, so 22 is a hit. And yes, beaver guts up the beach as you sort of golf swing into this thing.
Very good.
Slices in half.
Which orc was the one that owned the beaver?
The on fire guy.
Very good. I shall be using the prompt slaying of his beast to attempt to discourage that orc from, well, hold on a second, because if we do give these guys the chance to run, they will likely go and report us to their fellows.
Yeah, we kind of stepped in it on this one. Now we don't have the option of diplomacy.
Yeah.
Well,
my bad.
Unless we can make them our friend, which seems unlikely now that I've killed his pet.
Yeah, you killed his Pokemon. He's not your friend anymore.
This is unfortunate. Well, I see no other option for the greater good than to, unfortunately, slay these beasts. I suppose I could just, beat them with the flat of my sword, and we can, tie them up to a tree or something. I feel bad just slaughtering these guys when they're just literally doing their job to defend their people.
If you are trying to do a non-lethal attack, first of all, you can use a weapon that has the non-lethal trait, like your fists.
I see. So I can't use the flat of my sword?
You can use a lethal weapon in a non-lethal fashion, but you take -2 circumstance penalty to your attack roll.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. Fun fact, when I was trying to build a Pathfinder 2e version of Flick, the whip is a non-lethal weapon.
Really?
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So no Belmont builds for Pathfinder then.
Well, I'm sure there are probably lethal whip variants, but I didn't find one. The base
There's probably some class feature that lets you, yeah.
Well, the class feature I found was I was going to make him a magus and do spell strike through the whip. And that would totally work.
Is there a purpose to having a shield boss other than just as a secondary weapon, like damage type?
A shield what? Sorry?
A shield boss, a big bludgeoning thing at the end of your shield.
Here's a
spike.
Typically a round convex or conical piece of thick metal attached to the center of a shield. A shield boss increases the bludgeoning damage of a shield bash.
I mean, if you crit, you knock the target back. But
so shield boss does 1d6 bludgeoning. Does a regular shield bash only do 1d4 perhaps?
Perhaps. I'm just trying to determine, can I use that? I'm assuming that's not a non-lethal weapon. Wouldn't seem to have
Shield
that.
bash is not actually a weapon. Go figure. Yeah, you can just push him back. You crit. Non-lethal attacks. Let's take a look at that.
Perhaps. Do you think we could convince these orcs to submit?
It depends on how attached they were to that beaver.
That is the thing, eh?
True.
I mean, like, for all we know, we could have just unleashed, like, Orc John Wick on us.
Well, I have two options here. So I can move and attack, make a second attack on the orc, or I can attempt to demoralize that orc and then attack the orc next to me. Which would not be ideal because I have a benefit to attack the other orc thanks to the help action from Liam. I think
I will be generous and let this slide. If you want, Liam can use his help to either help you with your intimidate or help you with the attack, whichever you, because he can help with the skill check as well. So if you want him to throw in his help on the guy he lit on fire, that might be an easier check for him to do.
Is there a way I could try to, like, from what Sir Saluene knows about the orcs and this area and what we've been told, do I think they would even consider the term, like, do they even understand what the word surrender means, or yield, or submit?
The impression you got from Nikolai and his first mate was that these are even more savage than your average orc. They are wild, and people are crazy to fish here to begin with, is what it boils down to. And the island remains unexplored for a very good reason, and that's...
Yeah, I'm just trying to compare that to the fact that we are invading their home.
Yeah, like, that's kind of hard to overlook, is that we are the invading force here.
Yeah.
They're just defending their
literally doing their job.
homesteads. Yeah.
I'm killing the beaver is whatever.
How patriotic of you.
You would not well, roll me a society check.
Oh, okay. I don't mean to hold up the game. I'm wrestling with my character's internal conflict here.
Your character's internal conflict says, if you have the misfortune of being captured by these guys, they will show no quarter. You may be drawn and quartered. Yeah, your knowledge of the island orcs, they are particularly vicious, territorial. Yes, you are invading their territory, but they do not need to defend it this vigorously, is what it boils down to, if you want to justify it.
Oh, it's easily justified. I just... all right. Let's give this a shot. We shall indeed bring the sword of pain down upon these poor hapless folk. I shall not feel good about it. That's a 19.
19 will hit.
That's without the +2 circumstance from my good friend Liam.
Up to +2, depending on what he rolls on his check. So, what are you going to do to help, Liam?
Well, since he's attacking, I think the easiest thing for me to do would be to feint. To leave my opponent unprepared for, well, it says your attack, but if I was to feint and draw its attention down.
Okay. I like that.
Either that or create a diversion, even though both of those technically are supposed to be for my benefit, not somebody else's.
Do you have something like alchemy lore? Anything like that?
I have... What's the lore that I have? I have lore for terrain.
Okay. Or do you have arcana?
No. I'm not trained in it. No.
Or what's your athletics check? Probably isn't very good, is it?
It's -1.
So I was thinking the dude's on fire. It'd be great if you could fan the flames, but yes, your feint to distract him. Yeah, you can roll deception. That's
all right. 17.
17 is not enough. So it's not a critical failure, so you don't penalize the attack, but you don't help either. Normally the DC is 20, unless it's a particular...
But the 19 still hits, I believe, right?
19 will still hit regardless. And 11 damage is enough to drop that guy.
It's a shame.
As a reaction...
Uh-oh.
He goes to one knee for a second as you hack into him. And then you see the veins on his neck bulging. He just tips his head back and roars and sort of shakes and does the... and he slowly gets back to his feet and it's wounded. It's definitely wounded. But he is... Oops.
Very good.
He is a ferocious orc who is now wounded 1. But he is not dead yet.
What is that, orc fortitude or whatever?
Yes, a little,
something like that.
Orcish ferocity.
Ferocity.
Very good then.
And that was 1, 2, 3 actions for you. And it is now the other orc's turn. He is going to tuck into flanking right here with a step. Excuse me. And then he's going to knuckle dagger you. So, 23 against your AC -2.
Ooh.
So that is a hit, but not a crit, I think. So 5 piercing to Sir Sal.
Ooh. Yeah.
And then the second one, he just comes up to you and just starts filling you in like so. 16 against AC -2 because you are flanked.
Then that will hit because my shield's no longer raised.
Another 5.
That hurts.
Oof.
All right. You had your warning.
All right, Slippery Phil.
Well, seeing as it worked so well the first time, I'm going to press my luck and I'm going to try to grapple the orc with my grappling hook now. Just reel it back in and then... Whew.
Awesome.
So this will be an athletics check.
Yeah, and that is against my fortitude.
Not as good. That's going to be a 15.
Not quite. Unfortunately, this guy, he sort of sees it coming and grabs it, sort of drops it on the ground in front next to him, just snarls at you.
Well, now that I've got his attention and I'm holding my cape, I'm going to use one action to give myself that circumstance bonus to my AC.
Right.
And then I'm going to try for some panache, I guess. So I'll be like, ta-da! You found me. All right, I'll be a good sport and go home now. Yeah, it's gonna be a 7. So I've got a +1 to my AC. That's what I've achieved this round. Moving on.
All right. Liam, there's a flaming orc who's all up in your grill. Sir Sal's starting to get hacked up a bit. Yeah, this guy looked like he went down, but he just got back up and he's just...
Well, that's horrifying.
Yeah, a little bit.
He's like the undead all of a sudden. So Liam wants to get a little bit of distance between him and the on fire beastie, so he's going to back up 5, 10. That's my stride. I will interact to pull out my sling, and I will straight up David and Goliath this sucker. And, he's giant, I'm mini. And where's my sling? Bam! Oh, that's not going to hit.
14 does not hit, unfortunately. Actually, you sling bullet into him, and he sort of watches it hit him, and he was like...
Should have backed up further, obviously.
Yeah, a little bit. He's going to run at you.
Uh-oh.
He is going to try and tackle you. Basically, he's going to grapple. So this is against your fortitude DC. I'm rolling athletics.
All right.
Fortitude DC. So whatever your fortitude save plus 10.
So
sorry, whatever your save modifier is.
So I have E7. Does that mean it's 17?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm an expert at fortitude.
You're expert at fortitude, so he does not grapple you.
Huzzah!
And grapple has also got the attack keyword on it, so that ticks by multi-attack penalty. He comes up, doesn't grapple you. Then he is going to try and fill your face in with his fist dagger thing. 15 to hit.
Misses.
He's just too on fire. I think that's the problem. All right. That's his 3 actions. End of his turn, he takes 1 point of damage. And you see his skin like starting to crinkle and like harden in places. And it's like almost glowing like briquettes in places. Like it's nasty what's going on with this guy. He goes down and then pops back up again.
Oh,
wounded 2.
How do we kill him?
And now I'll roll my flat check to see if I shake the on fire. I do not.
Hey.
He's looking like he is starting to weave a bit as he's standing. So he's still ferocious, but he's on the brink.
Okay.
Because... Oh, boy. Okay. That's my turn, though. Sir Salueni.
If I were to knock him out while he's on fire...
He would continue to burn.
I presume he would continue to burn.
This is a fair assumption, yes.
So can I knock him out and put out the fire? Is that 2 separate actions? Assuming that works?
If you want to knock him out and then roll him in the sand, yeah, you can get him out.
Okay. I still feel pretty bad about attacking these guys, if I'm being honest with you. I shall come up behind him, deliver a swift, unarmed fist to the back of the head.
This is against his -2 AC.
Mm-hmm. No, you're trying not to burn your hand as you're swinging at him.
I'm wearing gauntlets, I would assume.
You also don't want like burning orc schmutz on your shiny gauntlets. So
I can't reflect the sun. See, I have a significantly less bonus, although I rolled pretty terribly there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I rolled like a 5 on the die, so
yeah.
I
All right.
could try it again.
One action left.
I'm also not doing too good damage-wise.
Can you?
Just for clarification purposes, in terms of actions, if the move action, you can move up to 25 feet. Does that mean that you can move up to 25 feet once you've chosen move, and you can do that however you like in whatever order? Or is it that once you've done moving and you've done another action, that move is done?
The second one.
Yeah.
Basically each.
Okay. Just for future reference.
Yeah. You can't split your move up. That's
okay. I kind of want to try it again. Just because, what the hey, I might roll really high.
You might. It's true.
Never know until you try.
Nope, very much not so.
Well, now we know. You tried, and now we know.
In fact, I rolled even worse. I rolled a 3 on the die, +4, -4.
Yes, on the upside, fists being an agile weapon only take a -4 on your multi-attack penalty rather than the -5 that your sword would have. So it's way better.
I will attempt to strike him in the back of the head twice and miss as I do this.
Yeah, apparently the back of his head is really well armored.
Seems unfair to slaughter those doing their job. Perhaps we should take the high road.
Are you suggesting we retreat?
No, I'm suggesting we knock them out and tie them to a tree. Also, it may be easier to knock them out than to keep dealing with this weeble wobble nonsense.
I will point out mechanically, the ferocity thing is a reaction, so you can only do it once per round.
Ah.
Yeah, but I assume if you're knocked unconscious, I don't know. I don't know if it would apply to that. I actually don't know. So.
All right. It is the not on fire guy's turn. Gosh, he's torn. No, he's not. He's going to go after Slippery Phil. Because you're throwing shit at me. Come on. That's just not. All right. Gonna punch you. Gonna punch you again.
Both of those will miss, fortunately.
Hey.
And I'm done. Slippery Phil, what you got?
Well, what I do have is I do not have panache. First action, I'm going to ready my dueling cape again to give myself the necessary AC to weather any blows that come my way. I'm then going to attempt to make a performance check to obtain some panache.
Very good.
That was the 3, so I'm guessing no.
Nope. The language barrier is really standing between you and there's a cultural divide, I think, is really the problem between.
Yeah, like it's just the jokes just don't translate well, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a lot it just doesn't rhyme in his language. I am going to. I'm going to move 25 feet back here. I'm going to try to kind of give him the runaround.
Very good. Kind of kite him away.
Just to try to like lure him away, kind of keep Sal from getting flanked again. Just sort of a divide and conquer sort of thing, and not just because Slippery Phil is a coward.
No, he's living up to his nickname of Slippery. I get it.
Yep.
Yeah, he slips away.
I got
They
you.
didn't call him.
They didn't call him Steadfast Phil.
Yeah, they didn't call him Phil the Undefeated.
All right, Liam.
I'm a barbarian no longer.
Liam heard Sir Sal, and yet this thing doesn't want to die. At this point, it's not really alive. It's died twice and come back. So Liam is going to interact to swap his sling for his dagger, and he's going to shank the fool.
Beautiful.
Don't listen to the paladin.
Oh, 24 is a hit. Oh, with flanking, that is a critical.
Hey, and I have it turned off. So
just double that to 4.
4 damage.
4 damage is enough. He has already used his reaction, so he cannot be ferocious again, and he drops. Crispily crackling on the beach here.
I like to think that Liam, being a little bit sarcastic, once the orc drops and you can finally see Sir Sal eye to eye, he'll be like, sorry, what'd you say?
Yeah, it smells like burnt orc out here. It is not good. All right, so you've interacted. You shanked him once. You got 1 action left. There's 1 orc left.
Can I throw my dagger?
Sure can.
Does that work for daggers here?
Should. Let's look at the dagger. Yep, throw 10 feet. Oh, so you're going to take a penalty because he's further than 10 feet from you. But you can definitely throw it. So it'd be a -2 penalty on the attack on top of your multi-attack penalty.
That's not worth it. So I have swapped weapons. I have attacked. So Liam is going to, I guess I'll stride, and I'll go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Right to there. And that'll be my turn.
Okay. Sir Sal, you see the orc you're desperately trying to spare crackling at your feet now. And Liam heads off into the bushes.
Okay.
Am I going to get smote?
Well, we're going to have a stern talking to later. I shall move up to this here orc, this fellow,
Mm-hmm.
and we will start with some right good thrashing with the sword, because punching him down seems like a exercise in futility.
Mm.
Yeah, you never want to punch down.
Oh my lord!
Man, rules have dried up on you. That was
Wow.
a 2.
All right, I'm gonna lay on hands myself.
Smart. So that was a stride, that was a strike, and then a lay on hands. So you
Yeah.
do.
That'll be me.
Beautiful.
Now, I assume if it says that the target is one of your allies, does that apply to me, or does that only apply if I use it on an ally?
Depends on how much you like yourself.
What, is that for lay on hands? Or?
Yeah, it says if the target is one of your allies, they also gain a status bonus to AC. Does that work for me, or does it only work if I apply it to somebody else?
That's a good question.
Hmm.
Are you your... Yeah. You are not your own ally.
Okay, I kind of figured that would be the case. That's fine. I
I also love that I can type in Pathfinder 2E RU, and that it auto-completed to your own ally. So kind of like when is AC a DC was also one that auto-completed pretty quickly for me. These are not new questions, apparently. All right, you've laid on hands. I'm going to savage you now with my fist knives. Here we go. Wolverine style. 22 will probably hit. Do you have shield snap as a reaction? Snap shield? There's a feat for that.
There's a shield block, but I have to have my shield raised for that.
Yeah, there is. Not a shield snap, something like that, where you can. Some people there's a feat you can get. Basically, you can raise your shield as a reaction.
Oh, I do not have that.
Okay. Then yes, 7 piercing. As I daggered your face. I will try it again because it worked so well the first time. Splat does a 19 hit.
Yep.
Whoa.
8 piercing.
Okay, good thing I laid on hands.
Good boy.
Oh.
Went south real quick.
Yep.
Woof.
You know what?
Grateful savage.
He's feeling lucky tonight, so he's just got a fistful of shirt, and he's got a roll here. 15.
That will not hit. But goddamn, that's high for a third attack.
He wanted it bad. That was a 16 on the die. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's. Ooh.
You're hittable with a third one. That's what it tells me.
Yikes.
Slippery fatal.
I love being level 1, where 2 orcs is like a world-ending threat for us.
Listen. I'm at 1 HP and I've used lay on hands. This is not a good place to be at.
Okay, so I moved. I'm going to attempt another grapple, just to get some really. Well, I can't one-shot him. I have no panache. All of my attacks do 1d6 -1, so this feels like the best play.
All right,
18.
Sorry, 18?
18?
18, you have successfully grabbed him.
Oh, okay, so I moved and grappled. I guess I'll make another shot at panache.
Go for it.
Oh, okay, so that was 17. So 20. Wait, no, 21.
21, yeah. That almost
that gives you panache.
Yes.
Okay. He is flat-footed and immobilized.
All right, Liam.
Liam, seeing just how hurt Sir Sal is, will go 5, 10, 15, 20 to there.
Beautiful.
And since it works, sort of limbo under the rope.
Yeah. I believe I still have my dagger out because I didn't stow that. So dagger out, and I didn't chuck it, which is fantastic. So I will again attempt to shank this fool.
Beautiful.
Does a 19 hit?
19 definitely hits.
Or 2 bludgeoning. Bludgeoning, that should be piercing.
That should be piercing.
That should definitely be piercing.
You're hitting with a flat end.
Yeah. Gave him a little smack. All right. I will hit him again with the dagger as my third attack, or as my second attack. So let's go second attack.
Ooh,
an 18
also hit.
Hey. For 4 piercing damage.
He's been wounded.
And that will be my turn.
All right, Sir Sal, you've got a flanking buddy. He's grappled.
Okay. Oh, geez. Well, it doesn't hurt to at least do 1 attack. Because even if it's 1 attack and then run,
that's still 1 attack and 2 moves is also.
Yeah. I mean, he's not going anywhere.
That's a valid thing. Hiya! 24.
24 with flanking is a critical hit. 10 damage.
Very good.
However, he was only at 9 hit points. So he goes down and he uses his reaction to pop back up to 1.
Well, here we are.
Well,
now it's his turn.
If I hit him again, though.
He's used his reaction and he'll just go down.
Correct. So all I got to do
1 hit point versus 1 hit point.
I just got to hit him again. Should I? I'm going to punch him in the... No. No. Sir Sal is kind and forgiving, but not that kind and forgiving.
Yeah, this guy's been brutalizing you, so...
A 13.
13 with flanking is
with
a
flanking.
Hit.
Oh, thank God. Sorry.
12.
Thanks, Seng.
Have to drop that. sorry, orc. Oof.
Woo!
This is the second worst time I've ever had at the beach.
Level 1, everybody.
Yeah.
2 orcs, a world-ending threat.
Who works in a beaver, I'll have you know. That was
Yeah. Yeah.
That's true. There was a beaver.
One very angry beaver.
whose guts are scattered up the beach now. So there is entrails and blood and splatter all over the beach here. But otherwise, you just hear the sounds of the surf. No signs of other orcs nearby. And you are feeling relatively close to where you need to be. You've been on the beach for 90 minutes to 2 hours now, so you're close to where you want to start really looking. But also, I see someone at 1 hit point out of 20.
Yes.
They want to stop and have some first aid.
Yes, I think I would like to perform some first aid.
Seems prudent, yeah.
I'd like to perform a medicine check upon myself.
Treat wounds. You can take 10 minutes, make a DC 15.
Can we have someone keep an eye out so that if during 10 minutes another patrol is on its way, we can GTFO?
Yeah, I can do some lookout.
That'd be nice. Thank you, Phil.
Where's the scout?
Oh, jeez.
Oh, no.
Exploration.
All right, so that was just a fail, not a critical fail, so you don't damage yourself.
I don't make it worse.
But
I didn't even realize that was a problem that could happen.
Yeah, you mentioned that last week.
Yeah, critical failure, you take 1d8 damage, so he would knock himself out.
Well, I am trained in medicine. May I also attempt to treat his wounds?
I mean, so am
I. You will have to wait for an hour before you can try again, though.
Oh, so he's attempted to bandage himself up and he's made a right mess, so we'd have to fix him first.
Yes.
Okay.
So the attempt itself takes 10 minutes to do, so you really have to wait another 50 minutes to try again.
Oh, wow.
Pardon? I seem to be rather foggy in the head area. Does this look right to you?
No.
The protruding bone fragments are not recommended. Question for you, Mike. Do you have the alchemical healing? There is one.
I did not take a bomb that was healing, no. I thought about it and then I figured, nah.
A healing bomb?
I think there is, there's something with healing properties that I did not take.
So while Slippery Phil, the character, does some scouting, just performs lookout duty while you guys heal up, Jack, the human player, is just going to be right back.
Very good. All right.
I
you guys are
most injured.
most injured, yes. But you don't have. Oh, wait a minute. Part of the loot last time.
Oh, wait. Hello. Hold on. Oh my God. I should perform a desperate prayer.
Oh yeah. Get you lay on hands back.
Oh, please. Oh, bright
sunny beach.
Sang of the Lord, and I will turn and get to the ocean to gaze upon the lights, the light of the sun reflecting upon its glorious blueness, and have it blaze before me. I beg of you to please grant me one final strength, so that I may continue your work and ensure that your beauty is provided to all corners of this earth. And I will get my lay on hands back, please. And immediately use it. Very good. Well, that's that thing out of the way.
Yep.
Hooray. Now, if I recall, though, I get focus back after 10 minutes, right?
Yeah. Well, yes, you can spend 10 minutes and regain focus.
Does using medicine count as that 10 minutes?
In this case, since you're treating yourself, I'm going to say no.
Okay.
But you can
but in another 10 minutes, it'll come back.
Yeah.
Okay. So theoretically, I can continue to heal myself as we go.
Yeah.
Okay. Or does traveling negate that?
Let me just treat wounds. Let's see.
I know that my cook background lets me make potions, I think, but I think I would still need ingredients for those.
One would think.
I would expect as an exploration activity, if you want to continue treat wounds over the course, again, it would probably be one of those move at half speed, but you can continue to sort of nurse your wounds along the way. So you wouldn't be doing any, you wouldn't have your defensive trait, you wouldn't be doing any scouting, but you'd be looking after an injured party. I would definitely let that as an exploration activity to do another treat wounds check at the, basically when the next encounter is triggered, I'll let you do one more treat wounds at the beginning before roll initiative.
Okay.
If you want to do that as your exploration activity.
And my focus?
Your focus, yeah, you can definitely regain your focus.
During travel?
Yes,
okay.
You can
so,
extol the virtues of the sunset.
Theoretically, just every 10 minutes, I would just lay on hands until I'm back up to full.
Oh, yeah, if you wanted.
That's why I'm wondering if that's how that works.
Well, yeah, to regain your focus, you're supposed to spend 10 minutes doing an appropriate activity. So looking after your own wounds is not an appropriate activity to regain your focus. But
so 10 minutes in prayer would be.
Yes.
So if we have time.
So if you want to take the time, you can attempt to hang out here for a while. You could regain your focus 5 more times. And then if
I don't know about doing that. That seems a little excessive, but
you could actually let me just see if there is a limit per hour or anything. Regain focus. Okay, just focus.
Because I would say we need to keep moving, but I also don't think we want the big hit guy to be at 7 HP.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Probably not, right?
No.
If we can help it, if there's a way around that.
All right, spell component, blah, blah, blah. No, spell focus. I want your focus. Focus spells. Here we go. You replenish focus. You can also use the refocus activity. Here we go. Spend 10 minutes performing deeds to restore your magical connection. One focus, just keep it do. So it's deeds you need to perform are specified in the class or ability that gives you the focus spell. So lay on hands should say what kinds of things you need to do to regain.
It just says cast somatic.
Okay, well, yeah, there'll definitely be a limit. At some point, there's only so much praying you can do at one point. Plus, you do want to keep moving. But yeah, you can if you want to sort of travel for a bit, stop and regain focus, travel for a bit more. That would be fine. Or as I said, if you want to do travel medicine, then as your exploration activity.
Yeah, I think we do that if we could, maybe 10 minutes longer here.
So do one
more back, and then we do the medicine, and like that should be okay.
Right.
But we do need to be aware that we won't have any more healing until we get another 10 minutes after that.
Yeah. Making camp at some point will hopefully bring that. Hopefully it all shakes out that way. Super
Camp.
Phil, when he comes back,
it's mid-morning. You guys are very.
Yeah,
This is true. This is true. It just feels like we've just been through an entire day.
we have just come to the realization, as tends to happen in these cases, that the paladin is the only healer.
Well, you've got a couple of other people who can help with medicine checks, at least, so the non.
Yeah, we were so happy with that earlier. We were like,
true,
what do we need healers for?
Apparently this is what we need them for.
You need healers for when your healer's at 1 HP. Let us continue after a brief 10-minute stint.
All right, so you're going to roll one more lay on hands, and then we'll move on.
Yes, great Sang. I apologize for not being able to save these poor souls. Though I did try, they proved resistant to my words and my bludgeons. I pray to you that you will give me the strength to know that what I have done is correct, and that in the future I shall feel less guilty about it.
All right, you killed
something.
All right. So you continue traveling for another 3/4 of an hour, and you arrive at spot. I'm going to just put us back on the island map for a second here. So you guys, basically you arrive at the mouth of this stream, where you were told that's where the find was made. And it was Liam who was doing investigation as your traveling activity, right?
Yep.
You pick it out almost instantly that there is a very overgrown, but once you sort of see it, you can pick it out that there's an overgrown cobblestone road leading basically parallel to the stream up into the woods, up into the forest. Jungle, that's the word I'm looking. Up into the woods, forest. No, that sounds far too.
It's like a forest, but more humid.
Yes. So yeah, you see faint evidence of a road leading off into the jungle, and the other thing that you pick out is that there is an abundance of fruit-bearing trees sort of around the road as well. Let's get some nature checks from everyone just to see what you know about these trees.
Cool.
Nature.
7.
I'm not trained in nature.
I got an 11.
And it shows.
A 3, a 7, and 11. Well, the trees, the fruit, what you piece together is that the orcs don't like fruit.
It's possible that it may be poisonous, which is why they have avoided it.
Wonderful observations.
But there does seem to be an inordinate number of them. Like it's almost to the point that this is the only thing here to a certain degree. It's a little weird. So it stands out as odd, but you can't really put your finger on what it means. Otherwise, you can follow this path off into the jungle, but this might be a good place to sort of cut off, because this is a good place to also have aid reunite before you guys disappear off into the trackless jungle. It might be a good time to get your ranger back.
A chance to lick our wounds.
So why don't we call it there, and we will pick it up here next time as you guys forage into the jungle trying to find some evidence of this lost outpost or whatever that statuette came from. So that'll be exciting times.
Like
we'll hopefully have Craig back next week. And I don't know, at the pace we're going, I think we probably have 2 more weeks of this to get through everything I have prepared. We'll see. Maybe you'll be faster next time, or maybe I'll just throw less stuff at you. I don't know. We'll play it by ear. We'll see how long we go at this. Anyway, I'm rambling a bit. It's time to wrap it up. Thank you for tuning in if you tuned in, or thank you for watching if you're watching the VOD, which will go up sometime soon. We'll see you again in 1 week, where we will be playing more Pathfinder 2nd Edition. And until then, happy gaming.